Hello, my name is Dr. Maya Byfield. My business is The Phenomenal STEMist. I'm so excited to be here in Orange County because it's where I live. I live in Apopka, Florida. And I decided to make this business because I saw a need for underrepresented students to be successful in STEM, which stands for science, technology, engineering, math. And the best way I can do that is just provide products for parents to prepare them, whether it's a book or online STEM camps or just video podcasting. My goal is to transform this community, especially those who are underrepresented. And the way to do that is to help parents understand their children's minds and basically develop them at different stages of their lives to be prepared for a successful STEM career. Thank you so much. That's why I'm here. Good evening, everybody. Dr. Yona, how you doing?
Hello, 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 hello. I am great out here in these AI streets.
Yeah. Listen, you got the yellow glasses, I got the blue ones. Let's go.
Yes, 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 yes. Because today, I mean, I didn't get to look at the document, but I am well aware of the digital divide and the fact that, in spite of how much technology is growing, the divide is also growing in terms of those who have access and who are using it to transform their lives, and those who don't have access and as a result are being left behind.
Listen, let's talk about this concept of being left behind. I was at a artificial intelligence talk on Friday, and one of the experts in artificial intelligence asked a question. They
Mhm.
asked, in the 1500s, did a lot of our ancestors know how to read? And the answer was no.
Didn't.
And he said that's the equivalent of us in 2023 not knowing how to code. I was like, what?
Yeah, yeah.
He said that's how illiterate you are and how behind you are,
If
and how impoverished you will be if you, or at least your children. So I couldn't believe it, because I don't know how many I don't have any children, but I would like to know how many of all of the people who I know has children, how many of their children know how to code?
know how to code, yeah.
I bet you was not a lot.
No, because first of all, we have this idea that only if you want to be a a
Right.
software engineer or something, then you learn. That's when you learn programming. And even among that group, so many of them think that they have to wait until they get to college
Right.
to start learning code,
Right.
right? And then when they get there, they realize that they're way behind their peers who have been programming since they
From
were five.
children. Yeah.
So they have a whole lot to catch up from. And unfortunately, many of them don't. And they change majors, they drop out of college, they do other things because they feel like that getting over that hardship is too much. And I'm speaking from personal experience. My nephew was one of those people.
You listen. I w- when you think about languages, it's best to learn languages. Period. When you are a child.
I don't even like the concept of us learning Spanish in high school. That's the first
Right.
time I learned Spanish. Our brains are programmed for language
When yeah,
pre 10 years old.
pre
Like
seven, yeah, exactly.
you it, pre seven is the best, but
Right,
10.
at
If
least.
you take a kid from Japan and he's pre 10 years old, he can come to America before 10 and pronounce the letter K.
Right.
You take him after 10 years old, he has an accent for life, and
For life.
he will not be able to pronounce the letter K
Yes,
properly.
exactly.
He will, right? That's why people who come here in their teens still have their accents,
Accents,
versus
exactly.
people who come here in their childhood do not.
Yeah. So the brain, what the brain is able to do in those early years, it cannot be compared, and that's why those parents in the know who expose their children to programming or any other skill or some thing that they might be interested in at that age. And it's all no pressure games. Listen, you can learn programming online for free.
Free.
Listen, if they can play computer games, they can learn programming, right? Because you have Roblox and they have a bunch of these gaming apps where you can learn the basic concepts of programming so that it becomes a part of your thoughts process. And that's one of the reasons why programming is becoming such an important skill to have, because now employers are looking for that skill, not
Everywhere.
necessarily because they want you to code, but they know if you know how to code, you think in a certain way. You are able to problem solve. You are able to be follow logic. There is a way that programming teaches your brain to think about the approaching problems. That is, if you know how to code, puts you at an advantage. I learned programming as an adult, and it was a struggle. Okay.
It's a struggle. I tried to learn how to code with Code Academy, and it was a struggle.
Yeah.
And I put it away, but I'm bringing it back
Yeah.
because he said, I'm telling you, my colleague said artificial intelligence is not to be played with. We like to glorify it, and I'm a promoter of it. I'm a promoter of, let me not say of it, but of us being in the know of it, right?
Hmm.
But I'm telling you guys, I'm watching social media and I'm watching my people just waste a lot of brain power, time
It's nonsense.
on
Which
foolishness,
they could be doing so many amazing, great, wonderful things.
this week is Will Smith and his so-called best friend who became just an associate, who became just an assistant, who became just somebody who, like, we look for him. We Then it's P Diddy and the scandal that got transformed in one day. Then
Right.
it's this, then it's that. We are just extremely distracted, and what these
And
people
those
are
people are all
saying,
millionaires.
they're all millionaires and we broke. And
Right.
on top of that, I'm telling you, they're saying we're creating artificial intelligence to replace all the anybody who's just a consumer. They said it like this. They said they come to a point where it's like the danger of artificial intelligence is that they'll say, well, what's the use?
Mm.
We're gonna be doing so much great things. What's the use of wasteful humans? Y'all
Yeah.
not listening to me.
No, but listen, the thing is, Dr. Andrew Ng is someone who I follow. He's one of the co-founder of Coursera. So he was all into online education, the MOOCs courses, but now he's a big proponent of artificial intelligence, and he's the one who talks about artificial intelligence as similar to what your colleague was saying. He said artificial intelligence has now become the new reading and writing, like it was 200 years ago, where only the rich, only the elite people knew how
Right.
to read and write, and they had their private tutors and they had exposure to learning all these lovely, wonderful things. And the poor could not, they just could not afford. And now AI has become like that, and it's not because it's kept from anyone.
Right.
you know.
Right.
It's
Right.
not like in the days of our ancestors where we were forbidden to learn how to read and write.
Right.
We don't have that excuse anymore.
No. We
But
are choosing to be
we
distracted.
are choosing.
We are choosing not to learn to read.
Yeah. And so he says that this is the new AI is like a new electricity. It's going to be in everything. Like it's going to come to the point where just that we don't think about the lights and the microphone and the computer, all of this is running by electricity. Now AI is going to become such a fundamental part of our lives. And so people who do not understand how AI works in their realm, in their own profession, they're
Right.
going to be left out.
Every single profession, guys.
Is going to be affected.
Every single profession is going to have a AI component and and a
Absolutely.
programming computer component.
Yes.
Therefore, if you it's like every profession has a language reading component.
Yeah.
So if you don't know how to read, you are illiterate.
Yeah.
And it
Because
and
it's
but
just
and
like,
it's just as the slaves were illiterate. But here's the key: the slaves were motivated to get their children to read.
yes.
My question to
Because they
you
knew the
people
difference
out
that
there.
they would make.
So go ahead, doctor. What are you
Because
saying?
they knew that if their children stood a chance of making anything in life, that what the education was fundamental. And the thing is, because they were so they understood the difference that it made. They were willing to do whatever it takes, sacrifice, work 3, 4 jobs to get their children that education so that they can have that advantage because they knew that that was the only way that they were going to get escape the poverty of their parents. And it's the same thing. If we're going to get to the next level, if the next generation is going to be anywhere near better off than we are, programming.
They gotta
Okay,
learn how to code.
because you see those people over there, open AI, they're all fighting about millions of dollars, and we're all caught up in the drama. Who's the CEO? Sam Altman, he started learning programming when he was 8.
8 years old. What's your children doing, guys? You out there who watching? What you have child? You have children? 5, 6, 7, 8. What are you doing?
And they
What
have
are
no
you doing?
excuses because I say if they can play, if they can get a computer, if they can do the video games, which they all are doing, they can learn how to code. Okay.
It's critical. I really, as reading was critical to the slave, coding is critical to us. I want us to really take
Th-
that in.
This past summer, my godchildren came to Orlando, right? And the oldest is 15, 14, and the boy is 10. And so I was, I found things for them to do the whole time they were there. And one of the things I did was took them to this, like there was a boot camp for the day where they would children to learn programming, the Roblox. It's a gaming platform. They learn coding. So it's nearby. I took them there, and so 15, 14, 10. When they got there, the kids who were there were looking at them like where they came from.
Mm,
Because you know who was there? The 5-year olds and the 6-year
wow,
olds, these
young,
people,
yeah, yeah,
right? And
yeah.
they want to know where these grown people coming from. They don't
Wow,
know how to cope. The 5-year olds were
5 year olds.
doing these things, right? That's the age where the parents are like, so before they even go to quote unquote big school, they're going to programming boot camps.
What's the demographic?
Of course, they're all white,
Oh,
all of them.
all of it.
Of course, there was a couple Asian kids there too, but
Guys,
all under 5. That's what I'm telling you.
guys, what are we doing? What are we doing? Like the amount of chaos I see on social media amongst us. I I want us to understand the dire straits that our community is in right now
It's
in
a
regards to being
misdirected energies. Yeah.
like left behind, misdirected energies. Our children are not being trained for the future. And I'm asking you, please, please, question. What is it? what do you think the reason is for this digital divide? My mother says she's too old now. Yeah, ma, you might be too old to learn to code. Um, but you're pretty good at technology. You just keep up to date with the technology that you know. You're pretty
Yeah,
good at
because
that.
the thing is that it's like the computer was the thing, right? And we thought, I mean, maybe the generation before us, right? They didn't see computers everywhere because now any profession you can think of, nursing or even if you are in janitorial services, you got to know how to log your time in on the.
You got to know how to use a computer.
So
Everything is on the computer.
yeah, and the thing is now they have all these different free, like you were mentioning, Code Academy. There is a site, one of the sites I love, Free Code Camp.
Yeah,
It's
I heard about that. Free
yes,
coaching.
it's
Yeah.
phenomenal, right? Because everything is free, and they operate on the basis of if you get a job and you want to give back, you can do that. But they
Free
have a
free code camp.
whole all
Mhm.
kinds of courses and they go from beginner all the way to the you can get complete certificate. People have gotten jobs, changed their professions based on what they learned at Free Code Camp, right? Because it was established by this young man. He was not a programmer, but he saw that that was where the society was going, and then he saw that there were so many jobs out there that needed to be filled and people didn't lack the skill as well as they couldn't afford to get the training. So he set up this thing called Free Code Camp, and anybody can go on there. Listen, you know how I told you I paid my nieces and nephews to they complete a certificate, $100.
Mhm.
That's how
That's how
important.
you motivated. That's how you
Yes,
motivated your student,
because
your kid,
right,
your them
because
people in
you
your
try to
family.
tell them, and it's like goes in one ear and comes out the other. But I was like, I've got to get them exposed one way or the other. Like what they do with it, it's up to them. But at least they have some basis, some fundamental. And some of them have taken it. My niece is now, she can do websites and stuff like that. And now my nephew's talking about machine learning and that kind of stuff. And the other one is in engineering. So it paid off, right? I felt like that was a better investment for me than
Giving
buying
them
them.
sneakers. They're buying them
Right.
sneakers.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
instead of buying them sneakers,
Yeah.
tell
But
them to take a coding class, get a certification, and you'll give them a
and you
hundred
give
dollars.
them something,
That's
yeah.
an awesome
Because
idea.
you know what it's like to be young. You don't understand
The
how the world
importance.
works and what's important, and by the time they do,
Too late.
it's too late, right? So yeah, because my husband is a software engineer, but he was exposed to programming, you know back in the day. Like his high school had um a computer, which was kind of a rare thing.
Back
But
then, yeah.
also he started playing around with that and fell in love with programming, and that's how he is now a system analyst at NASA, right? So it
Shout
pays
out
off.
to your husband, NASA
Yeah,
aerospace engineer. Awesome. That's
that's
pretty
right.
cool. It
Yeah,
pays off when you have exposure in
it
early.
does. It
It
really
does.
does, because for him, he never, I mean, so he did, do his undergraduate in engineering and all that, but programming was like another language that he knew, he understood. In fact, now I think my husband thinks in code.
Listen,
But yeah.
what are other so okay, number one, I'm not sure if you fully answered the question as to why is there a digital divide.
Oh,
Number one, you said there's distracted energy. There's distracted energy, like we're putting our energy on other things. There's no internal motivation, especially in the young. Can you think of any other reason why there's so many people that are not,
well, like I
especially
was
people
saying
of
that
color?
some of them think that it's only for a certain group, like
Yeah, that's right
for
too.
the software engineers, and so they don't want to. But then I think the parents who are the responsible now, they don't get the vision.
Yeah, parents don't have the vision either.
They don't.
Kids don't have the vision, and
And the
parents don't
parents
have
don't.
the vision.
So
Yeah, yeah,
Because if they were in a community where they were among other people, other cultures,
yeah,
they would see how different it is.
yeah, yeah. I'm telling you, it's gonna be in every career. Every career, the knowledge of programming is gonna be important in the future.
I'm telling you, I took my godchildren there. The 5-year-olds were looking at us like,
What are these old people doing here?
"What these old people doing in here?" Seriously, But
Yeah.
that's
So
but yeah, that's what happened. Their parents already figured out, okay, this is what they need to do, and they then dropped them off. And some of them, this was like their third and fourth programming language they were learning.
is it something that we're just not telling them? Is that we as people who are in the know are keeping it to ourselves? Like why could be that be a reason?
Well, it's kind of there's that saying, if you want to hide something from black
Put in a
people,
book.
put it in a book, right?
Uh-huh.
Now it's not even, you don't even have to put it in a book because they're so distracted by other things.
Yeah.
They won't even hear if you try to tell them something else,
Here's
right?
a practical thing. Get on your phone and put your social media on a 2 hour time frame or 1 hour time frame, meaning if you spend more than 1 hour on social media, it'll shut it off.
Yeah.
How about that? How about putting your limit? Because what are you doing, guys?
Or for every hour you spend just um scrolling, spend 15 minutes on Code Academy.
Like it. Love it. That's another practical. You giving me all kinds of gems. You
It's
giving me
free.
all
It's
kinds of
right up
gems.
there. There's these little courses, short things every day. They give you a little exercise to you to do so you can learn programming. 15 minutes a day.
Love it. Love it. Pay your kids. I don't pay your kids to get a certificate in
Yes,
coding.
don't feel bad. That's a good thing to reward them for.
Yeah, for every hour you are on social media, spend 15 minutes on free code camp, code academy. Listen, love it, love it,
There's
love it.
all kinds of things that they could do. So
Coding
there.
is fundamental. Coding is fundamental. It's like reading to the slave. You hear me? Listen to me. Coding is fundamental. Back when I was a kid, it was called riff. Reading is fundamental. I'm telling you now, if you don't hear anybody say it, you hear it for the phenomenal STEMist. Coding is fundamental for the future, y'all.
Yeah.
If your kids don't know how to code, they will not be prepared for the future.
Yeah, it's just like if you back in the day, you knew that, like you said, reading is fundamental. To get a good job, you had to have a good education in order to read and write. Now
Right.
that's not the benchmark anymore. That's like nothing. Coding. If you go online, if you go on LinkedIn or I forgot all these other job sites, and you will see how many jobs there are for coding skills. And the thing is that it's not just that there are a lot of jobs for coding skills, is that the pay scale between the coding jobs and the non-coding jobs are out
Right.
there. I mean, when you
Right.
think about all these billion-dollar companies, they're all started by programmers. It's like a whole nother world that you get into if you know how to code. And then
That's
of
gonna
course
cause a great divide.
that's the thing. When if you know how to write code, then you are not relegated to working for someone
Correct. Why? Why is it that knowing how to code can help you in other ways and not working for someone?
because for a number of reasons. You can be a freelancer,
Consult. That's right.
consult, you can do websites, you can do all kinds of coding projects, jobs for your own. You can start your own company, you can build your own apps and put it on the app store and sell it and make money. It could be your side hustle. There's just so many things that you can do, not to mention that uh even if you are going into some profession, law or anything, you're going to need someone who has those skills. And if
Right.
you yourself have an understanding of it, then you're able to then negotiate better. You're able to hire better. You're able to know when you're getting quality jobs done versus somebody pulling. I was listening to this guy. He was telling me, oh no, this was a youth. He was talking about how people have no excuses today, and he was talking about this particular skill, and he was saying that there are people making thousands of dollars to put to help small businesses put their business on
On
Google
social media and Google. Hmm.
because the small business owners don't know how, and
Right.
they don't know it's just a click and a point, and you
Right. Right.
thousands of dollars
Right.
they are paying for these services.
Yep.
So you have no excuse, right? Because he said that you can just type up an email, send it out to 100. I don't know, five of them might respond and ask for your service, and that's all you need.
If you have that skill set,
If you have the skill set.
if you have that mindset of the needs of computer programming skill set,
Exactly. Yeah.
what
Technological divide. That's the thing. Those who know how to be comfortable in that world, and those who are have no idea.
have no idea.
So
And they're still using that same media. They're still using that same TikTok.
yeah, right.
Meanwhile, somebody's making thousands of dollars to put some another business's TikTok or another business's social media or another business on social media or Google, etc.
Yeah.
While you make zero for TikTok as you
Yes,
scroll
exactly. In fact,
or as you
TikTok
dance.
is making money for you, for you, because the more people watch ads or whatever it is, they get more money, right? So, um,
Wow, wow, guys, please teach your kids. Let me give me another. I need another practical way to lessen the digital divide. What else can we do? So I've heard so far, go on free code academy, free code camp. These are free sites. Number one, teach yourself how to code for free online. I hear, give yourself goals. So like if you are wasting an hour of your time, spend at least 15 minutes on some kind of MOOC, some kind of Coursera or free code camp, whatever, teaching you how to code. Pay your children to get certified. What are give is there anything else
but
that we could
I
do to
just
get
I
more
just
people to code?
Googled this and it gave me this site, 100 plus free online websites to learn to code for beginners. And I wish I could drop that link somewhere that people could get it. Is there we can
You could put it in the chat
okay.
and it'll come out. So
Uh,
in the type of message you see on the right hand side, it says type of message, or you can put it in the private chat and I'll
I'll put
copy
it
it
in
and
the
I'll put
private
it.
chat because I don't see that. But
So
yeah, so they're giving you 100 sites where you can learn to code. But one of the things I was going to mention is I know that my nephew used to have these handheld games to play basketball, football, all this kind of stuff, when he was little and he would take it with him anywhere. I know that you have those. Do you know what I'm talking about? I forgot what they called.
you said what? It's like a
It's like a handheld video game. Play
Game Boy. I'm old now. It's like
No, it's not.
something a handheld video game. Go ahead.
Yeah, but anyway, so you can buy the different like an NBA game, you can buy NFL and all of that, put it. So those handheld systems, they also have games that teach you how to program, to learn how to code,
Got you.
right? So there's a game and it's called, I know there's Roblox, but there's another game that teaches you the fundamentals of coding.
Hmm.
Um for young children. This is for younger children because they do it with little kind of animal like creatures, but they teach you how to put the pieces together
Yeah,
and
they're using this. Yeah.
yeah. So and there's Minecraft. A lot of kids play Minecraft. There's a an app or a mode of Minecraft where you can
Learn.
learn programming through that. But There was a bunch of them I used to know when my nieces and nephews were younger. Oh, and then there's the hour of code. Have you heard of that?
I'm new to code. I just started learning to code last year, like 2 years ago. I got tired of it because it's difficult. So in the article that we're reading, it's a difficult process. My head started hurting me. So then they started to say, okay, do free code camp. Code Academy may not be your style.
Right.
So do free code camp, and
So this
I'm
this
gonna
one,
try
the
that.
hour code, they have it by ages, right? You have the pre-reader, the 2 to 5, 6 to 8, nine grades 9 and up, and they have all kinds of things there with this. Like they have NASA Space Jam, they have Hello World, Balance. These are all games by which you can learn to
Learn to
program.
code.
And
Okay.
I know the hour of code, a lot of companies are part of that because we were part of that at Meta, where programmers would volunteer an hour of their time to mentor kids and teach them coding and expose them to some of the activities involved. And so
Yeah,
that,
I feel like the earlier the better. As I said before, I'm not saying it's easy. I was trying to learn how to code as an adult, and it's hard. It's difficult.
it
So
is,
that's why it's so important that parents are making sure that their children
are exposed
are exposed to coding.
when their
Every
brains are
single
like
child.
a sponge and they can pick up every and anything, right?
Coding is fundamental.
Yeah.
That's what was pushed to me as a kid when I was watching Sesame Street, Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood on PBS. My mother constantly kept me on PBS,
Hmm.
and it was a constant push on PBS that reading was fundamental. Well, I'm telling you today, for your children, that should be a constant push for your children. Their brains are as sponges. They are going to learn to code much easier when they're young.
Yes.
It's going to be very difficult when they are old. It is time.
Yeah, and
It
it
is it
doesn't.
is like so time that we stop wasting time
No.
on frivolousness. I feel like we are just distracted to the hills. Meanwhile, they're creating artificial intelligence
Yeah.
to replace distracted consumers.
Exactly.
The only humans that will they plan to keep wealthy or whatever are those that can produce something,
Yeah, they can actually contribute. Yeah, you're right.
that they can contribute something. Y'all don't see what they're doing in this world. they
Yeah.
they're we have got to produce something, and I'm telling you that the future of production is computational. That's what I'm saying. Like, listen, anybody
Yeah.
out here tilling the soil? Who out here tilling the soil? Ain't much people tilling the soil.
Right anymore. No, but that's the thing, right? Because we are I'm an immigrant, you're the child of immigrants, and so we we understood to a certain extent the importance of education, and it was stressed. And even growing up Seventh Day Adventist, that was a huge part. That's
Big.
something I will always be grateful for. But now we have to go beyond just the reading
Yeah,
and writing.
it can't. It's beyond reading and writing now.
Beyond that, it's beyond that,
It's
that's
computational.
not even it's like that comes like nothing now, because when you think about it, we're living in America where the opportunities abound, and the people who are coming from China and India,
Yes, ma'am.
right, because they know how to code.
They know how to code, y'all.
They do.
They're taking all the. They know
Oh,
how to. They're taking the computational jobs because they have the skill set to code. What you doing, home girl? What you doing, homeboy?
yeah,
What you doing with your children? You scrolling on Instagram,
for,
TikTok,
for hours,
arguing about gender wars,
right? Because then
arguing
the people who know how to code, they're the one writing the programs like TikTok and others to
and and
distract
and
you.
and to
And
distract you, and creating bills like that destroy
exactly,
affirmative action.
exactly. Finding out how to electronically trap you and separate you and your money.
Y'all, are you? Listen, this is a serious conversation. I hope that you understand.
And the thing about it is, I believe that our people, our children, our kids, our young people are some of the most brilliant.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Creative.
if they know how to code and then they start developing their own
Yeah.
programs, their own software, building their own websites, building their own social media, and just
Why are we dependent on them to build social media for us to consume? Do you understand what Dr. Uona is saying?
because we're the ones driving social media, right? It's us. It's us. If we like something, the whole world likes it. If we bless it, it goes viral. If we don't bless it, and the marketers and the people out there know that. So they target us. They target
Target
our
and distract us. All that stuff that you see common just flooding your page. Don't you know that they're
all
targeting us?
the time, all the time. They
They're
are.
targeting us, guys, because we
Well,
keep
listen,
spreading it.
the whole industry is built. It's set up to target us.
Yes.
If it appeals to us, they know that we'll market it for free.
Yo, I like the way you say if we bless it. Yo, don't bless it. Produce it. Oh
Produce
no no
it,
no. Let's do it. I'm gonna change it. Don't bless it. Build it.
build it, build our
Don't
own.
don't bless it. Build it. Meaning
'Cause,
build your own platform. Build your. But you. The only way we could build is if we have the skill
like
set.
you said, you have to know the
And
technology. Yeah,
coding is the fundamental skill set to building everything that we're doing right now computationally.
yeah. I mean, and it's every field. If you think about movie industry, the music and everything, the people making the money are
Right.
the sound engineers and now everything is done
Streaming.
right. It's done through programming, right?
Yeah.
Everything is about the coding right now. So
Yeah. You can't even, the musicians aren't making money. They're not selling CDs, hand CDs no more.
nope,
Nobody
nope.
sell. You can't sell CDs out your trunk no more. You have got to do it computationally.
Exactly.
That's why all the musicians are broke.
Yeah,
That's why the
unfortunately.
actors are going broke. Guys,
Exactly.
everything that's happening right now is computational. And if you don't get the skill set, the foundation of things that are computational, I hope this is making sense to you guys. If you don't get everything of our future, everything that we have done physically is no more. Even biology
Yeah.
they're getting rid of the wet labs and they are
Yes.
using computational biology to make
Yes.
predictions as to how proteins
It's
will work. They're
all
not even doing wet labs as
computational
much
now.
anymore. Everything
Yeah.
is computational. And the thing about it is, it's fast. So back in the days, technology used to be much slower. So I had time, like even myself. Let's say I'm a biologist and I'm 30. I would say, oh, that's a long time from now. By the time I'm 50, that's when it'll not anymore. Technology is moving so fast.
In fact,
Chat GPT, when they came up with the program for Chat GPT, they made a paper about it in 2017.
yep.
It blew up last year, 2022. That's 5 years. It blew up and transformed the whole world in 5 years. Can you imagine what's going to happen in just 5 years? If I'm banking on wet lab biology, I'm out of a job in 5 years.
Yeah. And here's the thing about that, right? Because the technology was invented by Google and they published the findings in 2017.
Yeah.
So the information was available to everybody.
Everyone
The people at OpenAI who knew how to code,
who knew how to code.
they
Coding is
took
coding
that
is fundamental.
information, that technology, and they went and they say, how can we make this into something that we can market, we can produce? And that then they had Chat GPT, and today that company OpenAI is worth what, 17 billion? They had a little dip because of what happened,
What
right?
happened with the
Yeah,
CEO?
the CEO.
Five
But
years, guys.
Yeah,
5 years. They took the information that was accessible to everyone,
everyone.
and in 5 years made $17 billion. 5 years.
And
What?
and you know what? And you know what? The thing is that okay, yeah, OpenAI made a lot of money, uh, s- but there are companies, small businesses, startups that are taking what OpenAI did, right? Because that cost millions of dollars, and they're taking what they did and taking it a little further and putting their own little spin on
Spin
it
to it.
and putting. So now you have apps that are built on OpenAI that can do all these different things, and people have these companies. Like, I mean, and just last week, OpenAI had their Dev Day, and they showed you now with the Chat GPT, you can do all of these personalization. Listen, I went so crazy. Like, I created, I think about 7 GPTs already,
I
and
saw
kept
I saw the video. But
yes,
put your link in the chat so I can post
because
it.
it's like what, like, guys, are you serious out here now? Come on. The thing is like so easy. Like, you just go in there and you customize it, and bam, you have your own. And but I realize a lot of people
Don't know. They don't know. They
they,
don't know what they don't know.
they don't know.
But then we have to get to the place where we say to ourselves, I'm wasting time.
Yeah,
I'm
you
wasting
start
time.
somewhere. You got to start learning. You got to start. Um, take it slow. It doesn't have. Nobody's gonna give you an exam tomorrow.
Right.
But like I said, start with 15 minutes a day.
Start with 15
You'll be
minutes a day.
surprised by even the end of the year how much difference that's going to make in terms of your understanding of the technology, as well as how you can incorporate it into whatever it is that you're doing. Because I mean, I'm like you, I'm like, people, what are you doing, what are
What are
y'all
we doing?
doing out here?
What are we doing?
Because there's like so much, and I feel like, I'm older now. I'm like, man, if I was in my
If I was in
be
my
hustling out here like crazy.
if I was
But
and I, you know what? I'm like, it's not too late for me.
it's not, it's not,
It's
it's
not
not,
too late for me,
it's not,
even
it's
still,
not.
right? So,
Because
you know,
I mean, there's so many opportunities out there, and the same people who have had it will keep on having it. It's kind of like the Bible text: to those who have, more will be given, and
yeah,
to those who don't have, it will be taken away.
yeah.
That's what's going to happen with this, that and the divide will just keep getting wider and
Bigger and
wider and
bigger.
wider, because we have our kids are not learning the about the technology, so then they're going to grow up and not know about it, then their kids are not, you know what I mean, and it's just going to be this
The
cycle
generational cycle and making
of lack, and nobody breaking out of this level of poverty.
poverty.
Yeah, so
Yeah, yeah. It'll be exponentially artificial intelligence, machine learning, technologies of today and tomorrow are going to create an exponential divide if
yeah.
we do not get on board. I'll say this last thing. I see a lot of us using education for status. If you putting your kids through a Christian school, if I'm paying, to me, if I'm paying tuition, my kids better know how to code.
Yeah.
I don't have any children, so I'll preface that. But if I did, I wouldn't be paying no thousands of dollars to anybody's school if they weren't teaching my kids how to code.
But you know what?
I
You
wouldn't
know
put
what,
my
Dr.
kid through any
Mohammed? You made a
go
good
ahead.
point here, because last week I went to New York because my sister, she's thinking of sending the kids to Pine Forge, and so we had Pine Forge Day, and very impressed. The school is making a lot of advances, right? So in terms of the technology, they just got the new AR/VR system for their biology lab. But then when I went to the IT and I was asking them about programming, it's like, oh yeah, we're looking into it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I'm sorry, y'all. Sorry. You have no right to ask people for thousands of dollars if you're not teaching their kids how to code. Period. Period. I'm putting my people out there. I'm putting all my people out there.
No, and I mean, I offered. I said, listen, I'm willing to volunteer to do
And
something.
you could do free code camp. You could that needs to be a part of the curriculum.
It needs to
No,
be for
no
that amount of
Adventist
money that
school
they
that is
charge it.
charging thousands of dollars should have a
20,000
curriculum.
a year is what it costs to go to my course right
Yeah. I'm sorry. No school. I won't call my people out that hard. No school that is charging 20, 10, $5,000 a year to people's parents and does not have coding as their curriculum. They are causing a egregious
Yeah,
mistake.
yeah.
This is egregious negligence,
But you know what?
especially when you have free code academy stuff.
But you said something very important, and it kind of made me realize that's what it is, right? Because you said about education as a status, and that's kind of how we think about it.
Yeah, that's
You
it.
know,
We send our kids to these schools, and they not. I mean, paying thousands.
right? And so they think doctor, lawyer, maybe engineers in there somewhere. But that's all. That's it. Those are the only options. So maybe teacher, and then of course, seminary. Those are the
Not
things
no
they
more.
they prepare them for.
Not no more.
Other than that, they can't help them.
Not the days of Dr. Huxtable is past.
Yeah. It's
Listen to
all
me.
past.
The
Yeah,
days of
'cause
Dr.
listen,
Huxtable
doctors are having a hard time right now. They should know that.
and the future is gonna be worse.
Yeah.
It is. So as I said before, coding is fundamental. No institution that is charging people thousands of dollars.
Should
eh,
not be
They
teaching.
should. They should.
Should not
There needs to be
include.
coding needs to be a fundamental part of their curriculum.
Absolutely.
Period. I'm gonna close there. So parents, if you're paying thousands of dollars, you're just paying so that you can say I send my kids to these schools. Yeah, so they could look nice in their little uniforms. They're not getting educated.
But I
And,
just want
and
to, this site is talking about all of the benefits of students learning coding, and they have four things: decomposition, learning how to break things down into parts to be able to see them for what it is; pattern recognition, that's part of learning in any subject; abstraction, being able to see the big picture, and then the big picture, then the parts, and putting it all together; and then of course algorithmic thinking, how to take some steps and put it into an algorithm that then can be used universally. That's what programming is. And you being able to do that, not just in coding, but in all areas of your life, puts you at an advantage. And that's what employers want. So
period.
if they know you can program, they're like, okay, this person knows how to think logically and how to develop an algorithm. So it's a win-win for everyone. So please,
Win-win. Stop trying to look nice.
right?
You gave me the example of the whole VR. Like, who cares about that kind of stuff? Biology, it's the future of biology is coding.
Yeah.
So if they have all these nice technology things that
But
look,
see, it's the status, right? Yeah, yeah. Because then the sad thing is, and I don't want to put my people out there, but they didn't even know how to use it well because they had no technical person there.
guys, you could have spent more time on developing a free code camp part of your curriculum than purchasing high-tech stuff to make look good, but it does not lead to educational transformation. Listen, we got to stop being shallow as a people. We're shallow as a people. I'm sorry. I know I'm coming hard, but I need to come hard. We are extremely shallow as a people. It looks nice on the outside, but we don't have the depth. It is time and the depth.
Yeah, because
You
people
know
graduate and there's no jobs for them, right? So they have
right.
a degree and they're unemployed, but they
A,
get
a degree worth thousands of dollars with no depth. And the depth is free.
true.
The depth is free.
That's
Free
true.
Code Camp, Code Academy. A lot of these programs, the depth is free. It
Yeah.
requires diligence, discipline, and time.
Hmm.
So now we got to focus on getting diligent, disciplined, and spending appropriate time on depth and stop focusing on things that look sexy and look sweet and look technological, highly profile. We spend all this money on things that look away but have no depth, and then we don't have anything to build. So we
Right.
continue to consume.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean it's a whole mindset that, you and I, we all were raised in it, and so we have to shift it one person, one parent, one
At a
child
time.
at a time.
At a time. Sorry,
So
I'm coming hard, guys, but I'm looking at what's happening. I'm seeing the writing on the wall, and it's coming real fast. That's the only
it's here
situation.
for me. It's here. It's not even coming
Yeah,
anymore.
yeah, it's already here. It's
Yeah.
all yeah, yeah, that's what it is, Dr. Yona. It's already here, and as it's here, it's like we're entranced.
Yeah.
It's a scary experience to watch my people entranced while the divide is greatly here. So
And growing.
and growing exponentially. So guys, coding is fundamental. I am the phenomenal STEMist, and so is she. Have a good
Yes,
night,
yes,
everybody.
yes. Good night. And get to coding.